Hey y'all, my name's Priscilla and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be sharing my TBR for the Latinx-a-thon. And if you've been following my channel recently, you probably have heard all about the Latinx-a-thon. But if you are new to my channel or if it's your first time hearing about this, I will make sure to link the announcement video and my recommendation video in the description below, along with all the information you need to know about the Latinx-a-thon. And the Latinx-a-thon will be starting a week from today when this video is being posted. So it will run from September 22nd for a week. So it is still not too late to join if you'd like to join us. Okay, so let's start to talk about the books that I've chosen for my TBR. And I want to start talking about some comics. So Yvette actually recommended the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man with Miles Morales. And I saw that and immediately ran to her bookshelf and stole them to read for this readathon. She actually has 2 of the books. So if I like one, I'll probably continue on into the second. But this is a run of Miles Morales' origin story. So you don't really need a lot of context in terms of Marvel Comics to jump into this series. And obviously Miles Morales is going to be my Afro-Latinx main character to fulfill that prompt for this readathon. And I really am interested in reading something from the comic book world. I don't speak comic book, but from the comic book Marvel world of Miles Morales before the animated feature film hits theaters in December, which I'm super excited about. The trailer looks amazing. That trailer actually gave me a little bit of chills watching it because the animation just looks so good. So I really wanted to read something before I go watch that movie. The next book I want to mention is our group book, which is Itza by Rias de la Luz. And I'm mentioning this here because I am taking my own advice and going to be doubling up on 2 of the prompts. Not only is this our group book, but it also would double up as queer representation with a Latinx main character. And it is also own voices for the queer representation in this because the author identifies as a queer Chicana author. And if you don't know anything about this book, it's a fantasy that follows a generation of water witches in a town along the US-Mexican border, and it has a lot of themes of trauma and reclamation of body and self. So I'm going to be counting that for 2 prompts. And I am not going to be passing up an opportunity to pick up some poetry for this readathon. So I decided to read 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair by Pablo Neruda, and it is translated by W.S. Merwin. And I still have the bookmark in this because I got it from a bookshop in Chicago and I just left it in there. But this is a really short collection of poetry, and the coolest thing about this is that the poems are in both English and Spanish, and they're side by side. So I've really been wanting and trying to pick up more books in Spanish, but it is still very intimidating for me. So I really wanted to find something that could fit the translated prompt in this that I could read and feel comfortable reading. So I think this fits the bill for that. And I think that the title is kind of self-explanatory in terms of what this collection of poetry is going to be about. There's going to be a lot of love poems in here, maybe some loneliness themes. Neruda is a well-renowned Chilean, that's a word, a Chilean Latinx author. So I really wanted to pick up a little bit of classic literature for this readathon as well. So this fits both of those criteria for me. And the last book for my TBR I'm very excited about, and the book is The Air You Breathe by Francis de Pontes Pebles. And I am probably mispronouncing that, even though I watched interviews with the author and tried to practice it, but apologies for mispronouncing that. But this is a historical fiction novel, and it is own voices because the author is also from Brazil. And this takes place in the 1930s and 40s, and it follows a intense relationship between 2 female main characters. The women in this story grow up as children together, and they decide to run away to the United States to become famous samba stars and movie stars. And I just have heard so many good things about this. I listened to a podcast recently called Out Latino, which I'll make sure to link down below. I highly recommend that you listen to that if you're at all interested. This book is influenced a lot by samba music. So in that podcast, they interview the author and also play a lot of the inspirational songs and talk about the artists that influenced these characters in that podcast. One of the main characters named Doris, it is actually told from Doris' perspective as a 95-year-old woman. She is influenced by Chavela Vargas, who was a very famous Mexican ranchera singer, and she was such a badass. She was a woman that dressed in suits and smoked cigars, and rancheras are like very masculine dominated in Mexican music, and she just gave no fucks. And she came out as a lesbian in the 1980s, so that is why I originally thought that this had queer representation of FF romance, but now I'm not too sure. Anyways, the other character named Grasa is inspired by Carmen Miranda, who I'm pretty sure most people have heard of or are at least familiar with her image. And she was a famous Brazilian samba singer. And in Brazil, she was well renowned and respected as a samba singer. But when she traveled to the United States and when she started entering the golden age of Hollywood, she very much became like a butt of a joke, a very much caricature of Brazilian music, and it really was hurtful for her. And it's so terrible how the golden age of Hollywood just wasn't golden for many Latinos. A lot of those themes are explored in this book with both of those characters. And so yeah, I'm really excited about this and I can't wait to read it. So that is my TBR for the Latinx-a-thon. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if anyone else is participating in the Latinx-a-thon, or if you're reading any of the books that I talked about today and you'd like to buddy read, I'd be happy to do that. If you want to leave a comment down below, we can figure something out. So today's September 15th when this video goes up, so happy Hispanic Heritage Month, and I hope that you'll be reading some Own Voices Latinx literature this month to celebrate. That's all that I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye!